go when we're done and keep going. So I wanted to do this, guys, to share a little bit about stress management. There's right now a lot going on about stress and anxiety in people because of what's going on in around the world. I know people talk about how to deal with stress, how to deal with anxiety, but I want to start changing the mind about how to deal with it, because a lot of information out there is good, but it's outdated, unfortunately. There are more studies and things going on right now about stress management, and that's what I want to bring here. So what is stress? The myth that's been going on for many years is that stress is bad, that it's a bad thing that is affecting us negatively. And we got to understand that new studies have proven that stress is actually normal. It's not bad nor good. It's in our head how we think about stress and how we deal with stress, how it affects us in a good and a bad way, and that's going to share in a little bit. So we got to understand that stress is a normal response from our body. When we are in a difficult situation, it can be even from our mind that we're not going to go, going to get the money we need for the rest of the month. Right now with the coronavirus, if we're going to get it, somebody else is going to get it because of me. If the economy is going to crash or whatever, those just beliefs start triggering high levels of stress. And as we think the stress is bad, we get drained out and we feel exhausted, tired, and we cannot move forward. So the idea is to start understanding that it depends on ourselves, on each one of us, on how stress hits us and how we manage it. And that's what I want to talk a little bit, okay? So we're going to take an example. We're going to do something whenever this is, as it's happening worldwide, the coronavirus is hitting us. We are like, oh, what's going to happen? It's going to crash. I'm going to get not going to be able to work, not be able to earn money, not be able to get to the end of the month. My mom might happen something to my mom, my dad. Whatever is happening in your head right now, right in this moment, it's just in my head. But as I don't know how to deal with it, that keeps building a bigger kind of snowball, bigger and bigger, that it just gets me exhausted, that people overthinking, it's then the end result, okay, and that many times leads to high levels of stress. So the idea is to start identifying these things that are bothering me, how to work with them to start reducing the stress levels to levels that are acceptable and are good for me. Because again, stress is not bad. It can be even good if I know how to do it, and that's what I'm going to cover. So these strong emotions cause epinephrine and other hormones in the body to get me ready to fight or flight. And that's what we call it, to get ready to fight or to run away, you know? So that's the idea about stress. So stress is a normal response of the body, of the sympathetic nervous system, that is only protecting us. And if we understand how it works, if we understand that it's not bad, and we use it in our advantage, it can lead, I'm going to show you, and there's studies about this, to optimal performance. Do you think a guy that's about to run the 1 mile race or whatever he's going to do, or whatever challenging situation you're facing, you need to be more aware, more glucose in your brain to make better decisions, more oxygen. And that's what this end result does. The stress makes your body be ready for this challenging situation you're about to face. So right now, this uncertainty can lead to, in our mind, all these questions that if we keep building them up and not addressing what's going on underneath, and we're going to go there in a second, it builds this stress level high that we're going to go overboard, and it's going to lead to exhaustion, overwhelm, and to negative things, okay? So the truth is these leads to increase in heart rate, muscle strength, and glucose in the metabolism. So actually it helps us have more oxygen and more glucose ready to act. And that's the idea of stress. So I give you this information to understand that stress is not bad. And this is a proof. It's a normal response from the body. It's like saying salivation is bad. When does salivation happen? When I think about food, I start salivating, or if I have food in front of me, I start salivating because I'm start getting ready to digest. So can we say that digestion or salivation is bad? Of course not. I can over salivate and maybe have a lot of saliva in my mouth, but I can kind of slow down a little bit if I have food or whatever. I don't know, swallow it, get rid of it, and that's fine. So a lot of has to do with our mind. I can picture in front of me a nice plate with food. I'm going to start salivating. And the same happens with stress. If I start overthinking, I start thinking that things are going to go wrong, economy is going to crash, I'm not going to be able to reach the end of the month. Although I have money now, I might be able to make it. The thought of, I don't know what's going to happen, might stress us to high levels that we go overboard. And that's what I'm trying to share here so we can prevent that. It makes the body be more alert and go into fight or flight. As I was saying, the unknown normally produces these high levels of stress, okay? Stress is a response, as I said, it's a feeling of physical or emotion tension. It can be a situation, as I said, or a thought. The coronavirus right now is stressing a lot of people in a negative way because they don't know what's going to happen. They want to be in control. The subconscious mind is always wanted to be in control in the comfort zone. And this is taking us from our comfort zone out because it has never happened before, at least for what we lived in this period. We haven't gone through something like this. Maybe in 2 years, 5 years, something similar to this happens, and we're going to be more ready to that. That's the adaptation that we go through. Okay, but right now we're not used to this, so it makes us feel pretty bad. But instead of just doing other things, watching Netflix, listening to music, eating, buying stuff over the internet that might get them or not, whatever, instead of doing external things, what I want you to bring to you guys is start looking inside. What's going inside in me? Why is this bothering me? I'm going to talk a little bit about that, okay? So we're exposed to a situation different to what we're used to. It triggers stress. Okay, stress again, stress, not bad nor good, stress. It can then go into good or bad stress. It depends on how I deal with it. So the body releases chemicals, as I was saying, to get you ready. And normally past experiences gonna dictate our mind, how we learned in other past experiences, how we learn from there, how we're gonna feel today. So imagine if I was bit by a dog, a Rottweiler. If I see a Rottweiler, I'm going to be scared of Rottweilers. If I had a Rottweiler when I was a kid and I see a Rottweiler, I won't be afraid of it. So past experiences dictate how today we react. And as we are so disconnected from our emotions, whenever we're getting negative, whenever we're feeling something uneasy, instead of facing that emotion, we just shut it down and put it away. Because when we were kids, our parents taught us that negative emotions were bad. And don't say anything yet, listen to this. And your mind is going to be saying like, well, what are you saying? Whenever you were crying, what did your parents tell you? Not to cry. If you were doing something wrong, they were telling you, don't be mean, don't be like this, don't do that. So many times when we were angry, we were told not to be angry. We were shut down from our negative emotions. Nobody taught us how to deal with them. So right now we're living in a very difficult situation where we don't know what's going to happen with the world. There's economies crashing, people dying, and people are, I don't know, getting worried. And instead of really going deep to find what's the root cause that's causing these high levels of stress, people are trying to find other ways not to think about it. Going to the internet and watching movies, watching YouTube, eating or whatever, as I mentioned before. Instead of just facing what's going on inside, we try to push it away and look on the outside because that's what we were taught when we were kids. Make sense, guys? Anybody has questions? Any questions for now? Doing good? Are we there, guys? No questions?
Still here, no questions.
Perfect. Going then. So look at this, the good and bad stress. I'm going to go over to the next one so you understand better. Look at this. You got performance goes up, levels of stress, okay? One to the right and the other one goes up. So if you see, the more stress you are faced, it starts getting you from calm, okay, to optimal performance in what we are calling the middle part. You can see there, the eustress, energized, focus, works, feel effortless, or whatever task you're doing feels really easygoing. So you're going towards optimal performance. But what happens? We have these programs in the back of our head, these negative false beliefs about ourselves, about whatever we have learned, maybe even the world, people are bad, viruses kill everyone, or whatever we have believed from our past that are going to keep us up here longer. And from there, because we're not listening to these beliefs and we're kind of pushing them away, ignoring them, we start getting into the fatigue, exhaustion, health breakdown, or even burnout. So trying to stay positive, trying to push yourself to stay positive, trying to not to pay attention to your negative ideas, thoughts, or whatever. Everybody's going to die. No, I don't have to think about that. And I just push it away. That makes me trigger higher stress levels and go overboard. And I'm not saying that if I feel that a part of me is saying, oh, everybody's going to die, it's going to be true. But I need to address that part of me. And that's what I teach a lot about self-awareness. It's being aware of what's going on inside. I'm going to post a video of a session that I did a little bit ago with someone that he had some money limiting beliefs, and he had no idea were there, okay, these beliefs. And the only way is to start listening to these small voices in the back of our head. We know what's going on. The thing is, we live in autopilot and we don't listen. We look into videos, we look into Netflix, we look to work, we look to eat, to meditate, to run. We escape our problems doing something else instead of facing them and trying to understand what is going on. So as I always say, we have a habit. It might be right now getting stressed, really stressed out because what's going on. That stress is being triggered by a negative emotion. I'm afraid, I'm sad, I'm whatever, you know? And this negative emotion, if we really go deep and figure out what's going on, it's going to take us to the limiting belief at the bottom, the root cause that Omri is talking about. You need to figure out the root cause to change the root cause into positive reprogramming. Then you're going to change the emotion into positive, and you're going to be able to change the habit into positive. So if you feel that every now and then somebody does something to you and you get into a bad mood, the bad mood is the end result, the habit. In this case, we're talking about not being able to make money, get to the end of the month, get exposed. Maybe my parents die because of the virus, whatever is going on in your head. If you're feeling something weird or if you're stressed out, that's the end result. Overwhelmed, overthinking, stuck, not being able to move forward, that's the end result. We need to find the emotion tied up that's triggering the habit that is coming from a limiting belief. The limiting belief, an example could be, in this case, I'm afraid that I'm going to die, or I'm not going to get to the end of the month, okay? But if I start addressing that, I start changing it. And then again, an example, if I'm not able to pay expenses, what's going to happen? I might lose my flat. I might lose my apartment, my house. I won't be able to support the family. How are you going to feel about yourself if you cannot support the family, if you cannot make enough money? So you start talking about yourself, how you feel about yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not going to be loved by my family. So I start identifying the negative beliefs that are triggering the emotion, triggering the habit. Okay. That's the only way that I'm going to actually make a big difference in my life and start changing what a lot of people out there are telling you, be positive, think positive, whatever. That doesn't work in the long run. I've been working with a lot of people that have breakdowns because they're pushing themselves to be positive, not to think in the negative things. It's okay. If you have this negative belief, it comes from your past experiences. You cannot just deny your past experiences. We need to acknowledge, understand what's going on, then we're going to make the change, okay? So good stress, as you can see here in the middle, it's going to take you to full awareness of all your senses, of all your what's going on inside of you. And how do you do that? Developing self-awareness, okay? So when you're more self-aware, you understand that, okay, I got to do this, so I'm going to go do it. And I get maybe a voice in the back of your head, no, but I'm afraid I might fail at this or whatever. And you start listening, you can start making changes in your life. More oxygen in your brain. When you have good stress, you start breathing better. Not over hyperventilating, like when I'm so stressed out, when I go overboard, that reduces my oxygen in my brain. And that's going to, of course, bring a brain lockdown or breakdown, you know. Better performance. So there's good stress, as we were saying, there's bad stress. Bad stress, we push our limits without understanding our feelings, our emotions. So our emotions are a big part of us. That's why I teach emotional intelligence. We need to put together our thoughts and our emotions, align them. Many times they are not aligned. I want to do this action, I want to do this, but I'm afraid. So I try to push harder not to listen to that I'm afraid, but then I have a breakdown because I'm not aligning these two, but I can align them. I listen to why I'm afraid, I go deep, okay? And when I go deep, I change that belief, I reprogram it, and then I'm going to be able to align it. I take massive actions or not feel so bad, not feel so depressed of what's going on around in the world. when we're looking for a certain result and things don't go as planned, we feel there's something wrong with us. We got to go look down to the belief, but that makes us feel that we're not good enough or valued or loved or recognized, and we get overboard with the stress, high levels of stress, and we get exhausted. So whenever you end a day that you're or whatever action you're taking, whenever you're finished doing whatever you needed to do at the end of the day, and you're very tired, you're exhausted, you feel really bad, okay? Many times it's related that you went overboard with stress, and that's why you're feeling so exhausted right now. Make sense? So we want to be in control, but we can't control. We lose because many times it's not up to us. And that leads, of course, to exhaustion and burnout, as I was mentioning before. So why do we have high levels of stress? We don't have the right tools to handle the stress. Since childhood, school, high school, or even higher educations, we weren't taught how to really manage stress. We were taught to just push it away or get used to it, push harder, push through, you're gonna make it. And that's why if you look to the numbers, we have so many depressed people, anxious people, a lot of people with medications, because we're not treating the root cause. We're just covering up the problem with medications, and that's not working, because there's more and more people falling into that. So there's something we're doing wrong. So we have been taught to cover it up, to ignore it, to be able to carry on our lives with these high levels of stress. And each time we keep pushing the bar up, but eventually we're gonna break, we're gonna have a burnout, and we're gonna finish really bad. So the idea is to start being more aware of what's going on to be able to deal more with this. So why is stress produced? To understand why this occurs, we have to go back to the beginning, to the beliefs, learning experiences, expectations we were taught or imposed to. So again, I need to make money to pay for expenses. Why do I believe that? It's true in a part that I need to pay expenses, but why do I need to? Because I was told that if I cannot provide my family, I'm a bad person, I'm not good enough, or whatever, I might lose, and I worked on that. I used to think that I was gonna lose my whole family if I couldn't produce for my family. Okay, so I went to a difficult situation, and I learned that I had the belief that if I couldn't produce my family, I was a bad person, I wasn't worthy. And it was a belief, okay, a negative belief. I started changing that, okay, I started feeling better about myself. I was able to take more actions in my life. So again, every experience we encounter is an opportunity to find what are the beliefs that other imposed in us, or we got the conclusion of different experiences from our past that are making us go down the wrong road. Because again, right now we're in a situation that maybe, okay, your 9-to-5 job, or maybe you're independent, you're not be able to make money. Okay, start thinking the beliefs down there. I need to. You don't need to, because you're doing it from a false belief. Maybe I want to, but if I need to, that's kind of an expectation, and many times it has to go from something externally. Makes sense, the difference from I want to do this because I want to do it, from different from I'm taking a backpack in my shoulders from all the people that are telling me that I gotta produce for my family, okay? One thing is to take that and still want to produce for my family, but taking away the weight that I have on top of my shoulders. That's the idea of this. And many times we're taking the weight of a lot of people in our shoulder, many times our family, even friends, our partner, that we need to get rid to be able to have more clarity, more focus, and make better decisions. Right now, in this difficult situation, we need to make better decisions to move forward in our life, in our business, or wherever we're doing. And that's what I want to finish with, is many times our subconscious mind wants to stay comfortable in the comfort zone. So to be able to move away from the comfort zone, we got to understand these negative beliefs, negative emotions, because it's the only way that I'm going to be able to start moving forward. A lot of people, again, push to move forward. They move forward 5, 6 steps, and many of them fall back even 10 steps. They have a breakdown, they have a burnout. So what I'm teaching you here, instead of just pushing harder, stop, breathe, and that's what I'm going to teach you guys right now. Whenever you're feeling you're getting overwhelmed, you're losing clarity, you're getting stressed, high levels of stress, just sit down straight, breathe. Look at this, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Just focus on your breathing for a couple of seconds. It can be 1 minute, 2 minutes. The more you do it, the more you're gonna kind of lower the volume of all these voices inside of your head for a second, And then start listening to those small voices inside of your head. These loud voices might be telling you, push harder, you can do it, go do it, whatever. You need to listen to the small voices like, I'm afraid. Because actually, what's going to bring more problems to you guys is going to be the volume, the low volume in your brain, not the big volume. The loud voice in your brain is the one that we have all day, that we are in autopilot. We need to stop, push that stop button in the autopilot, breathe, and focus on the small voices inside of your head. I'm afraid. I don't want to die. Whatever is coming up, you know, right now with this virus going on. Like figure out what's going on inside of your head. Look at it, listen to it. And I teach 5 steps. Identify, acknowledge, accept. And this is one of the most important steps. Accept what's going on. Okay, don't deny it. Oh, I'm feel scared. I shouldn't be scared. No, accept it, embrace it. Learn from it. Why am I scared? What is going on in my head that I feel that something wrong is going to happen? What is the belief, the false belief I have in my head? So I learn, I heal by changing that negative belief, okay? And then the transformation, the fifth step, the transformation comes eventually because I'm doing the correct steps before. So whenever I'm feeling something is wrong, that I'm staying at home, I feel overwhelmed, I feel stressed out, I'm procrastinating, I need to do things, and I'm doing them. Slow down, breathe, take a couple of seconds, even minutes, just breathe. As normal breathing, a little bit more to, okay, fill up your lungs. Don't push air in too hard, just breathe in. That's going to lower the volume from your conscious mind and start listening. What are these small voices telling you in the back of your head, and start paying attention. That's going to reduce a little bit your stress. And I call it the ABCD, the stop ABCD rule. Is stop, be more aware of yourself. A, airway. B, breathing. Airway, just sit straight or lie down and breathe. Connect, detect emotions. What are these negative emotions coming up for? Why are they there? Why are they bothering me? When I do that, my world starts changing, guys. I want you to invite you to do it after this. Try it out, see what happens, and you can write to me and share your thoughts. But it's amazing how things start changing when I do this. You won't even realize the short run right there might be a little bit, but if you start doing it and doing it and doing it, changes start happening are amazing, okay? So I recommend that you start putting this into practice. It's going to help you reduce those stress levels and start using this stress in a good way to make better decisions and be able, of course, to go through this difficult times we're going through, okay? So any questions, guys?